Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio, coming to you on this post-Thanksgiving Black Friday. Jim Coyle, as always, and Alec Lasley joining us from thehoosier.com. Indiana Rivals, as Indiana preparing to host We Are Marshall tomorrow night. Let's see, they are currently, 5-0, Alec?
Thing with Marshall is they can't really shoot the ball. So I think it's going to be a lot of the same offensive struggles for opponents now that seem to really, really struggle to score the ball against Indiana. I don't see that changing with Marshall this weekend. They shoot about 29% from three as a team, only about 44% from the field overall. So they don't struggle to score the ball, but they just struggle to have really efficient offensive possessions. And I think with obviously going up against Indiana's defensive pressure, it's going to be more of the same. Aren't super big in the front court. They do have one guy who's averaging about 6 blocks a game. He actually had 10 blocks against Jackson State last week for Marshall. But you look at them from top to bottom, and I think you're just going to see kind of more of the same result that these teams have been getting over the past few weeks. And I think Indiana fans, and I think Indiana especially, is ready to kind of move forward to the next kind of level of opponents and play, get to Syracuse and actually face a high major Power 5 program to really see kind of where this team is at. Obviously, this team looks like it's in a very, very good spot. Obviously, defensively. Offensively, we'll see how they continue to progress, but we're not really going to learn anything else from this Marshall game that we don't already know about Indiana. So I think a lot of fans are just hoping, let's get through the Marshall game without any injuries and move forward to Syracuse and start kind of getting the season kind of officially underway now, just due to the fact that I think you're going to see another 70-30, 80-50 kind of game that we've been used to seeing over the past 2-3 games for Indiana now.
Yeah, Marshall has played some common opponents, of course, because of the Hoosier Classic or whichever one this is. In Louisiana Lafayette, they won 93-79. Jackson State, they defeated 80-66. So they're getting out and running, putting some points on the board and holding these opponents. That Louisiana Lafayette got 80 points, so that was a little bit closer, but very similar in the Jackson State game. So they're the best of the opponents Indiana has played in this, it looks like, without question.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Just again, the fact that they're not super efficient offensively, I think, is really going to hurt them against Indiana. They're not a great shooting team, and the fact that they don't have any kind of true big guys back to the basket that can really put up a lot of points. They have one player, but he's a lot more of a defensive-minded, kind of longer, athletic player. So I think you're going to see a lot of Trace Jackson Davis involved a lot more early in the game. And if Marshall's in foul trouble, they're going to really struggle to put up points. But, maybe they get hot. Most of their guards shoot about 15 to 25% from three. They take a decent amount of threes. So the fact that they're not converting on a lot of these just shows me that they're not going to show up against IU in a longer, more physical type of backcourt that Indiana has. So it's going to be a struggle for them to put up points consistently. They'll probably go through a stretch throughout that game, just like every team has done against Indiana so far. Put up 7-0, 9-0 run, I'm sure at some point, but I just don't see this one being really close whatsoever. I think Indiana is ready to like I said, move on to the next set of their opponents, and they're ready to kind of cruise through this one as well. So I think Indiana is going to be ready to play and ready to win this one big like they have been.
Yeah, Marshall is not exactly, although they're 4-1, they have not been shooting the ball very, very well. As you said, not very efficient. From 3-point, Tavion Kinsey, probably maybe their best shooter, but he's only connected on 16% of the 12 3-pointers he's put up, 2 of 12 over the last 5 games. But he's made 80% of his free throw shots. But Marshall they're putting up a bunch of 3-pointers. They've attempted 29. They've only connected on 17%. And only 5 of 29 over the past 5 games. And that's playing against teams that are not as defensively stingy as Indiana, as you pointed out. So this could be even worse for We Are Marshall.
Yeah, I think, like I said, I think Indiana's going to go to Trace Jackson Davis early, try to get one of their two, solid defensive big guys in foul trouble, and then after that, that'll kind of open up the floor for Indiana. We heard Mike Woodson talk about post game earlier this week about him wanting to get Trace Jackson Davis more touches. He only had 7 shot attempts. Obviously, didn't need more, but I think you always want to start with Trace Jackson Davis and then work your way out. And so I think you're going to see a lot of a kind of a heavy dose of him early on in the game, and then let some of these other shooters try to continue to find their rhythm like Parker Stewart has. And obviously Miller Kopp is starting to kind of come along. Still isn't shooting at a high percentage yet, but I think he'll get there. And the aggressiveness, I think, is the bigger kind of change in mindset from the past few years with Indiana, just because he's not shooting the ball great right now. Hasn't really shown in his confidence. He's still up there with, shooting the most almost out of anyone outside of Trace Jackson Davis. So they're going to keep shooting. They're going to go in. But yeah, Indiana's confidence, at least from most of these guys who are true shooters, is not going to really waver, which I think is really important moving into the next set of games here for the Hoosiers.
Yeah, Trace Jackson Davis, the offense is going to have to run, depending on the matchup, but most of the time we'll need to run through Trace Jackson Davis. The only positive thing that has come out of these last couple of games, Alec, is that Miller Kopp, Parker Stewart, Christian Lander have kind of found a groove while they weren't doing that. I've talked about this with Parker Stewart. I think just stepping up out from behind the three-point line, opening up, hitting some different shots. He's even tried to get to the rim now, so his game is opening up. Miller Kopp, obviously putting up more shots now, trying to feel a little more confident as being a part of the offense. And then we've seen Christian Lander come in, and not the last game, but the game before last, get minutes. But coach said that the second unit wasn't getting the job done when he put him in the last game, so he just took him back out. And that's what we'll see throughout the season. And that's refreshing to hear, because at least you know what you're going to get. This should be a game that I don't know what's the spread on this game. Not the name, but just out of curiosity. Do you happen to know it as I'm pulling it up slowly?
I don't know it. I would assume it's going to be right around 20, like it has been for most of these games for the Hoosiers so far.
All these games have been like 23, 24 points, and Indiana has covered it with the exception of early. What was the game early where they were up
Eastern
big
Michigan?
Yeah. Other than that, where the guy lost $110,000 on that bet. Poor dude.